My friend is a painter, and I have seen her work. It is beautiful. So I asked if she was willing to paint a portrait of me and my husband in our wedding outfits. I thought it would be a perfect one-year anniversary gift. She asked for a reference, and I gave her a few pictures along with a $300 deposit. Altogether, we agreed on $700. Yesterday, she showed me the painting. At first, my husband looked great, but I noticed that I looked completely different. In short, she sexualized me, and I find it so gross. The painting shows me with huge boobs, which I don't have. I'm an A-cup due to running. Moreover, my wedding dress was altered to show much more skin, and she even added a split to the dress to show off more leg. However, I don't look like that in any of the photos I gave her. I find it really gross. So, I told her I would not be paying the remaining balance and that she either needed to fix it or keep the painting herself. This caused a huge argument. She thinks I'm a jerk for refusing to pay and pointing out the issues I had with the painting. Now, it's going around with our friends, and opinions are divided. Some think I'm being petty, while others are standing by me.
Story 2. For returning the bag my husband bought me because I didn't want the rude sales assistant to get commission. I've never experienced a sales assistant being so rude to me before, so maybe I overreacted here, but last week I was looking for a birthday gift. There was only one free sales assistant, and I could tell she didn't want me to approach her. She was intentionally avoiding eye contact and walking away when I was close. I waited 10 minutes in the hopes that another sales assistant would be free, but they weren't, and it was getting late, so I approached the original sales assistant. She pretty much brushed me off without helping me, so I went back to browsing on my own as my husband was going to meet me there. When my husband arrived, her entire demeanor changed, and she suddenly wanted to do her job. I was looking at a bag that I would have bought for myself if it wasn't for the rude sales assistant. My husband asked me if I wanted to get it, but I said no, as the rude sales assistant would have been the one to benefit from the commission, as by this point she had come over and was offering to help us. A few days later, my husband surprised me with the exact same bag. I asked him if he got it from the same place and if it was the same sales assistant who had helped him. It was, so I told him I wanted to return it. He knows she was rude and dismissive when I tried to ask her for help, but he still didn't want me to return the bag as he said I would be missing out because of a random stranger. To him, the commission isn't a big deal, but I don't think she should benefit after how rude she was. If he had bought the bag with a different sales assistant, I would have kept it, but since he didn't, I returned it. Now he's upset because I returned his gift.
Story 3. AITA for not having an in-depth discussion with my sister about why I won't babysit her 2 daughters while she has her 3rd child. My sister, years old, asked me, years old, if I would babysit her 2 daughters, 5F and 4F, while she gave birth to her 3rd child. I told her no because I didn't feel comfortable babysitting them. My sister asked me why, and I told her that the girls not getting along and all the trouble between them is more than I could handle for an unknown amount of time. I told her there was nothing that would make me more willing to babysit in these circumstances. For those wondering how bad it can be between them, it's bad. Sibling rivalry, or whatever this is, has been awful between them since they started any kind of independent play. They're very mean to each other. They get very loud together because they'll scream at each other and throw things so the other can't play with it. There is no setting where they can get along. My parents have babysat them together, and they told me it was exhausting, and none of the consequences for being mean, acting out, helped them calm down. My dad said it was like 2 fighting cats, and nothing short of separating them calms things down. My sister and I went out with the girls before she got pregnant, just a girls' day out. I wasn't even alone with them then, and I felt out of my depth. They fought the whole day, and the oldest says she hates her sister a lot, while the youngest is the loudest during any fight or when she's expressing an issue with her sister. The hug-it-out method that my sister and her husband use never works. They refuse to touch at all, let alone hug. They can never find a hired babysitter who will keep the girls for the agreed time. They always get called home early from dates. They've tried over 20 babysitters. My sister is aware of the problems between her girls. She doesn't like when anyone tries to give advice about what to do. So, I didn't go into more detail with her when I was explaining why, but she said we needed to sit down and have a more in-depth discussion about my reasons, because she wants to try and figure something out, seeing as I'm the best person for the job. I told her we had no reason to have this discussion, and that she needed to accept my no, and find someone else to babysit. She told me it's too risky for her to deliver alone because she's always had complicated deliveries. Her husband needs to be beside her and not home with the girls, so I need to talk this out with her and help her. AITA?